Peace was good. Welcome to Hip Hop Album Review Part 30. Let's get this show on the road. First I'm gonna review for today is Ja Rule's debut album, Venni Vecci, released in 1999. Venni Vecci stands for I Saw, I Came, I Conquered. Dope title, by the way. For those who don't know who Ja Rule is an MC from Queens, Hollis, Queens, New York. Got to start back in the early 90s, 93, 94. He started out with a group called Cash Money Click. They put like 2 singles. One is For My Click and Get the Fortune. And then fast forward to 1995, Ja Rule's first appearance on Wax that the world started to know him was on Mike Geronimo's first album, The Natural, with the song Time to Build with DMX and Jay-Z and them together. And after that song, they were cool with each other, DMX, Ja Rule, and Jay-Z. And then in 1998, there was talks of them becoming a group called Murdergram, or Murder Inc. I should say. Hence, that's how Irv Gotti got their name from the group. And they made a song called Murdergram that was on the Streetz Watching soundtrack. And after that, they made a couple of songs, whatnot. And then fast forward to 1999, we got this album. Pretty dope album. This came out around excuse me. Sorry about that. This came out around a time when like a lot of East Coast artists was suffering from the bad boy syndrome, using a lot of 80s top 40 samples and stuff like that. But just like DMX, it kind of comes with the same vein as like It's Dark Hell is Hot. Not saying it's like it, but it's hardcore and stuff like that. More gritty beats and shit like that. Singles is almost known for. It has a couple of videos from it too. Like the most successful one was Holla Holla, which was like the big single, the breakthrough single off this album. But also got videos for Holla Holla, Kill 'Em All with Jay-Z, dope song. It's Murder with DMX and Jay-Z, and Murder for Life. And that song Murder for Life is actually on Memphis Bleek's first album, Coming of Age. I did a review on that too. Dope album, by the way. It's a pretty solid album. If you like Ja Rule before he started singing and all that shit, you would definitely enjoy this album. Rule 336 I don't have in my collection. That's a dope album too. When I didn't like Ja Rule when he first came out, you know what I mean? I thought he was kind of corny, but I was like, and then I really started checking him after the whole 50 Ja Rule beef. So I was like, damn, Single 50 talking shit about Ja Rule. I'm like, damn, you right. But I was like, you know what? Let me go check Ja Rule's joint albums, and I checked them out, and they're not bad. They're pretty listenable. It's enjoyable to listen to. But it's like when he started doing like Pain Is Love is when I was like, okay, that's enough. But this Ja Rule, Venni Vecci, released in 1999. Must have in your collection if you're a fan of, the Def Jam, like back in the late 90s, East Coast hip hop from the late 90s, things of that nature. Ja Rule, Venni Vecci, 1999. Next album is Nas and Ill Will Records presents QB's Finest, released in 2000. This is a compilation album of MCs from Queensbridge, just laying down tracks, things of that nature. It's a solid album. Like if you guys are fans of Queensbridge hip hop, like I am, like old Queensbridge hip hop, from like the late 90s, the early 2000s, before they started, beefing each other and just all this nonsense and shit like that, then you would definitely enjoy this album. Singles this album was known for Uchi Wally, which was like the biggest single off the album, and The Bridge 2001, which features Capone, Cormega, Marley Marl, MC Shan, Millennium Thug, Mobb Deep, Nas, Nature, and Tragedy Gaddafi. I mean, they have a video for that. I'll post down a link to that. Pretty solid album. Unfortunately, this album is actually out of print, so if you could find this album, you see it in stores, definitely cop this, man. definitely. If you're a fan of Queensbridge hip hop like I am, you definitely enjoy this album. This is QB's finest, released in 2000. Definitely must have in your collection. Then the next album is Ultramagnetic MC's third album, The Four Horsemen. This was released in 1993. Ultramagnetic MCs, they got to start back in 1984, and back in 1984, and they released and they started making noise throughout the underground. And in 1988, they came out with an album called Critical Beatdown, critically acclaimed by many, considered a classic hip hop album. And then in 1990, fast forward to 1992, they released an album called Funk Your Head Up, and dope album. I don't have it in my collection. I've been trying to look for the album, but it's very hard to like. A lot of this stuff is hard to find. Like the only album I could find is like Ultramagnetic, the Critical Beatdown album. And then fast forward to this album is 1993's The Four Horsemen. Pretty solid album, in my opinion. Their best album. Pretty solid. This album, a lot of people were saying that S.D.E, his voice was like more deeper. It sounded more grimier. You know what I mean? In this album, they went back to the original hardcore roots. You know what I mean? Singles this album was known for. It only has 2 singles. Two Brothers with Checks, San Francisco Harvey, and Raise It Up with Godfather Don. And I mentioned Godfather Don when I was doing the Diabolique album. I did a brief, history on this album too on that review. It's crazy because Godfather Don gets introduced off this album, and there's a song called what's the song? Checking My Style, which also featured on the Cenobites album, which is very hard to come by. But it's called Return to Zero, I should say. Excuse me. But this is a solid album. This is Ultramagnetic MCs at their finest, in my opinion. If you're a fan of DITC, that style of hip hop back in like the early 90s, but kind of like a little bit of Runaway Slave by Showbiz and AG, but a little bit more funkier, you would definitely enjoy this album. This is The Four Horsemen, released in 1983 by Ultramagnetic MCs. This album was actually out of print, but they re-released it in 2008. I have the OG copy because I bought this back in like 2002 or 2003. So this is Ultramagnetic MCs. Definitely must have. You're a fan of, Ultramagnetic MCs, Bronx hip hop in the Bronx, DITC. If you're a fan of Godfather Don, you will definitely enjoy this album. Then we got Ice Cube's first album, America's Most Wanted, released in 1990. This album, classic hip hop album, man. I already did a review of who Ice Cube is. I did a biography. If you don't know who he is, go on Wikipedia or check my back catalog, I should say, of my reviews. This is when he was fresh out of NWA. He left the NWA and things of that nature. But from what I read, originally he wanted Dr. Dre to produce the record, but because he left NWA, Jerry Heller kind of cock-blocked, Ice Cube, I should say, and so he was trying to look for that, I don't know, that angry sound. So he linked up with his cousin Sir Jinx, and also he went to New York. He flew to New York and recorded with the Bomb Squad, Public Enemy's production team, and they produced this whole album as well as Sir Jinx. Pretty solid album. It's a pretty dope album, man. This is a hip hop classic. This is a must-have for everybody. I don't care if you don't like hip hop. If you're just starting to get into hip hop, you definitely should have this album. This is definitely one of the most, and it's actually got 5 mics. It's no surprise. You listen to this album front to back, We can't go wrong. Singles is I was known for. There's actually 3 singles. Let me see what the singles. Who's the Mac, which they have a video for. America's Most Wanted, and Endangered Species. This album, like this is the 2003 release version, and what's cool about it is that it comes with the Kill Out Will EP, but you don't get this disc, you don't get the actual disc, you get like the they put all the songs from that EP into this album, so you actually get 23 tracks, so you can't go wrong with that. But since this has that EP, I might as well review the Kill Out Will EP. This was released right after. This was released right after America's Most Wanted. Like I think like a couple months after. Singles that I was known for are what's the singles? Jackin' for Beats, which they have a video for, and Dead Homies, which was like the other single for this album. Definitely must have. If you're a fan of Ice Cube, of the early 90s like I am, if you're a fan of early 90s hip hop, if you're a fan of political hip hop, you would definitely enjoy this album. This is America's Most Wanted, released in 1990 by Ice Cube. Must have your collection, go cop it. Snoop Dogg, Doggystyle, released in 1993. Definitely must have in your collection. For those who know who Snoop Dogg is, he's an MC. He's an MC from Long Beach, California. You know, he got to start back in the early 90s, in 1991. You know, he was a Crip. You know, long story short, he went to jail because he sold drugs to an undercover cop. He got released from jail. He hooked up with Warren G and Dr. Dre. Started releasing demos and stuff like that. And then in 1992, fast forward to 1992, he got his recognition from Deep Cover, the soundtrack. I did a review on that when they did 187 Deep Cover, the song, and also when he was on Chronic, Dr. Dre's first album, Chronic, the first Chronic by the way, and with the songs like Nothing But a G Thing. That's what really got him out there and stuff like that. And fast forward to 1993, we got this album, Doggystyle. A lot of people like to compare it to Dr. Dre's Chronic. It is, you know, I can see why, you know, some of the beats, but I kind of feel like Dr. Dre kind of stepped his game up with the beats. I would say like the beats a little bit more funkier. He uses a lot more like Curtis Mayfield samples, you know, things of that nature. This album actually has 4 singles. The singles are Who Am I, which is What's My Muthaphukkin Name, which was the first single. Gin and Juice, Doggy Dog World, which was, they have a video for it, but it wasn't the most, you know, notable single, and Murder Was a Case. And this is definitely a West Coast, not even a West Coast, this is a hip hop classic in general, you know what I mean? Definitely a must have in your collection. Just like I said about Ice Cube's America's Most Wanted, definitely a must have in your collection. It's gangster G-funk hip hop, you know, at its finest, you know what I mean? In my opinion, this is Snoop Dogg's best album. Although he's putting out a couple dope albums, but this is the only Snoop Dogg album I have in my collection. I might go get some more and I'll do a review on those, but this so far is my favorite one. But this is Snoop Dogg, Doggystyle, released in 1993. Definitely must have in your collection. Alright, cool. Alright. Then we got Cameron's second album, S.D.E, aka Sports, Drugs, and Entertainment, released in 2000. For those who know who Cameron is, he's an MC. He's an MC from Harlem, New York, of course. He got his start back in, I want to say like the mid-90s, yeah, like 1994, 1995. He got to start with, he got put on by Big L, and he was under the supergroup Children of the Corn, who consisted of Cameron himself when he was known as Killer Cam, Murder Mace, as you guys should know, and Bloodshed, Cameron's cousin. But they made mad songs, but they never made an album. There's a mixtape that's out called the Collector's Edition by Children of the Corn. Very hard to come by, but if you can find it on the internet, go copy it or download it, whatever. But Cam'ron's first appearance on wax was on Big L's first album, Lifestyle's Important Dangerous, with the song the Graveyard, which was not the Graveyard. 8 Is Enough, excuse me. That was his first appearance on wax. And then in 1998, he put out an album called Confessions of Fire, which I do have in my collection. I will do a review on that. Successful album, things of that nature. And 2 years later, we got this album, Sports Sharks in Entertainment, released in 2000. It came out 3 singles. The singles this album was known for is Let 'Em Know, which was the first single, My Hood, and What Means the World to You. Obviously, What Means the World to You is the breakthrough single off this album. This is definitely a dope album. It's a hood classic. If you like Cam'ron from back in the 90s to the early 2000s, this is the Cam'ron before he started doing that stupid, the computer's putin', the stupid, I don't care what nobody says, all you Cam'ron fans, like, yo, you know I'm telling you the truth, like, he's not the same like he used to be. A lot of people might argue with me, but I don't care. But this is Cam'ron, in my opinion, in his prime, and even when he was with Children of the Corn. But this album is actually out of print, so good luck finding it. Definitely, this is Cam'ron in his prime, in my opinion. This is Sports Shark and Entertainment, released in 2000. Definitely must have it if you can find it. Oh, another thing too, before I go back, what's the song? This album actually, give me 1 second. The song Do It Again actually features is Jim Jones' first appearance on wax on the song Do It Again, and the song Double Up, as well as All the Chickens is Joel Santana's first appearance on wax. So I thought that would be a little trivia for you guys out there. But Cam'ron, S.D.E, released in 2000, out of print. Then we got Cormega's The True Meaning. This is his second album, released in 2002. I should say, excuse me. Pretty solid album. I did a review on Cormega's Who I Am soundtrack, and also did the review for his what's that shit? The special edition, which consists of 2 albums. The first 2 albums, this album and The Realness. Pretty solid album. This actually got awards like the Independent Album of the Year for 2003, and it also received he also received the Impact Artist of the Year at the Underground Music Awards during that same year as well. Singles this album is known for The True Meaning, what was singles? Live Your Life, The True Meaning, which they have a video for, and The Come Up, if I'm not mistaken. They all have videos for those songs too. And Live Your Life, they also have videos. I'll post on a link for those videos. But this is Cormega. He never put out whack albums. He always put out dope shit. If you're a fan of Queensbridge hip hop, you will definitely enjoy this album. This is Cormega, released in 2002. The True Meaning. This album is actually out of print, so if you can find it, go cop it. This is hip hop at its finest. You can't go wrong with Cormega. 1 second, guys. Love water. Then we got Eazy's second album and his final album, I should say. Final full-length album, I should say. Straight Off the Streets of Muthaphukkin Compton. Released in 1995. Based on the research that I've looked on this album, this album was supposed to be a full-length album, but because you already know about Eazy. He passed away. He died of AIDS and things like that. Excuse me. He died of AIDS, so he couldn't finish the album. And then like so, whatever songs he could finish, it was they got like 14 songs out of the whole batch of songs that they could find or whatever, and they put out this album. This album was released it was released 8 months after he passed away. From what I read up on Wikipedia, like I said, it was supposed to be a 2-disc album, and it was supposed to there's a lot of unreleased songs that he did between the making this album, but it couldn't be released due to like legal issues or whatnot, and things of that nature. But getting back to this album, singles this album was known for but the Muthaphukkin Real and Just to Let You Know, which was like the only singles off the album. Just to Let You Know was like they only have like one video off this album. Is Just to Let You Know. I'll post on a link to that. This is, in my opinion, my favorite album from Eazy. The beats are dark. He went really dark with it. And actually, the song "What Would You Do" is actually dissing Death Row and Dr. Dre. Went after Death Row Records pretty much. He talks about Snoop Dogg, talks about Dr. Dre, talks about Suge, Snoop Dogg, the Dog Pound, and things of that nature. This is definitely a must-have in your collection if you're a fan of West Coast hip hop, if you're a fan of NWA or Eazy. This is straight off the streets of motherfucking Compton, released in 1995. Then the last time I'm gonna do is KRS-One's solo debut album, Return to Boom Bap, released in 1993. You guys should know who KRS-One is. I'm not gonna get into his discography. Released this in 1993. This was right after he put out the Boogie Down Productions classic. In my opinion, their most underrated album is Sex and Violence, which I don't have in my collection. When I do get it, I will get it. I will get it, and I'll do a review on that. The album was considered like their best album to a lot of people, but it didn't do well financially, so he had to step back and think what he had to do. And matter of fact, he did an interview recently. I'll post on a link where he talks about this album. Actually, pretty good interview. But this is KRS-One, like one of his best albums. What's different about this album? KRS-One doesn't do all the beats like he did on Boogie Down Production albums. He actually lets people like Primo, Showbiz, Kid Capri, and things of that nature. Singles I was known for what is singles? Out of Here, which was the first single, and Out of Here. Mortal Thought, which was a single too. Black Cop, which also was featured on the CB4 soundtrack. Dope movie, by the way. Definitely must watch. And Sound of Police. And I believe that's it. What's interesting about Sound of Police, little quick trivia, the beat for that was originally Bumpy Knuckles' song, 8 Bars of Terror, the song 8 Bars of Terror, that was featured on his second album, Crazy Like a Fox, which was released in 1994 but got shelved, and he released it back in 2008, and they were saying like the album was too dark, so because the original version of that album was all DITC album beats, people like Showbiz, Buck Wild, Lord Finesse, but the record label was under I forgot the record label, but he was affiliated with the Flavor Unit, and they were saying the record label they were under was saying that the beats were too dark, so he had to re-record the album, and I guess the beat that he had for his song 8 Bars of Terror you know, Showbiz gave the beat to, you know, KRS-One, and that's how that song was born, you know what I mean? But this is KRS-One in his prime. To me, KRS-One was better back in the 90s, even though he puts out good music now, but it's not as solid as his new stuff, or his older stuff, excuse me. But this is Return to Boom Bap, KRS-One, released in 1993. Definitely a hip-hop classic, must have in your collection. And that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed my hip-hop review. Stay tuned, please. Comments. What albums did you like? Which albums you didn't like? Let's talk. You know what I mean? Hope you enjoyed it. Peace.